Welcome to CARICOMP Insider, where high-tech facial recognition meets real-world intelligence.
$10,000 facial recognition cameras. $500 million ringgit, roughly 126 million US dollars. And not a single published rule governing how the data gets used. That's Kuala Lumpur right now. Malaysia's capital has wired itself with a city-scale biometric surveillance network, and the government says it's already working, reporting that snatch theft dropped by nearly 60% and overall reported crime fell by half. Numbers like that are hard to argue with. And that's exactly the problem. Because once a government spends that kind of money and points to results like those, the conversation stops being "should we do this?" and becomes "how do we defend what we've already built?" If you've ever walked past a security camera, at a mall, a train station, an intersection, this story is about you. Your face is data now, whether you opted in or not. So what happens when the system watching you has no public rulebook? Malaysia's Personal Data Protection Act dates back to 2010. It was written before city-scale facial recognition existed. And it doesn't cover government agencies. That means the very entity operating 10,000 biometric cameras is exempt from the country's own data protection law. There's no published framework explaining how long facial recognition data is kept, beyond 60 days, who can access it, or whether any independent body audits the system's accuracy. The infrastructure went live. The guardrails didn't. Kuala Lumpur's police chief has said the surveillance network improved suspect detection by up to 50%. Minister Hannah Yeoh has framed the rollout as data-driven urban security. And those claims are doing exactly what you'd expect. They're justifying expansion. But no one has published which facial recognition algorithm the system runs. No one has released demographic accuracy testing. No one has explained what evidence standard applies when a camera match becomes part of a criminal investigation. For an investigator building a case off one of those matches, that's a serious gap. For a person whose face triggered a false match, it could mean being treated as a suspect with no way to challenge the technology that flagged them. And Malaysia isn't alone. Delhi announced its own Safe City project, also 10,000 facial recognition cameras, with police there already holding a database of around 350,000 faces. Southeast Asia and South Asia are following the same pattern: deploy first, govern later. Western democracies are still debating warrant requirements and bias testing. Meanwhile, entire capital cities in other parts of the world are already live. Now, some will push back on the accuracy concern. According to NIST testing, the highest performing facial recognition algorithms today exceed 99% accuracy, with consistent results across demographic groups. Leading commercial systems used by governments score above 97.5% across more than 70 demographic variables. Those are strong numbers. But they describe the best-case scenario: tested algorithms, controlled conditions, verified vendors. Malaysia hasn't claimed to use any specific verified technology. It's claimed broad operational success. Those are two very different things. According to research published in Science Direct, state-of-the-art facial recognition still sits around 90% accuracy in real-world conditions, and 100% accuracy can't be guaranteed. That gap between lab performance and street-level performance is where false positives live. And some algorithms still show performance differences across racial groups, differences that only surface when someone actually tests for them. Malaysia hasn't mentioned testing for them. Compare that to the NYPD, which requires corroborating evidence before acting on any facial recognition match. A camera hit alone isn't enough. It's a lead, not an identification. Malaysia's system? No comparable requirement has been made public. $126 million and a 50% crime reduction claim create a kind of gravity. When a government invests that much and points to results that dramatic, it feels irresponsible to question it. But the investment size doesn't tell you whether the system is accurate. The crime stats don't tell you whether innocent people got swept up along the way. The authority behind the numbers isn't the same as the evidence inside them. So, a major capital city built a biometric surveillance network with 10,000 cameras and over $100 million. Officials say crime dropped by half. But the country's data protection law doesn't cover the government, no one has published the system's accuracy benchmarks, and no independent body is auditing the matches that feed into investigations. The technology arrived. The accountability didn't. And that gap between what the cameras can do and what the rules require isn't just a policy question for lawmakers overseas. It's the blueprint other cities are watching right now, deciding what they can get away with before anyone asks them to prove it works fairly. The full story's in the description if you want the deep dive.
Now you know something most people in this industry don't. Use it. And when you're ready to put it to work, caracomp.com. We'll see you tomorrow.